sorry. Let me get this straight. You're glued to a video about black folks leaving America and going to Ghana and finding peace, finding joy, finding comfort and happiness in God. Okay, cool. Me too. I watched the video. But you decide that you're going to take it upon yourself to set the record straight. And you want to get on here and cry about our ancestors built this country. No shit, Sherlock. But you want to act like the fact that we built this country, that's not a contract binding us to further suffering, to further exploitation. According to your logic, we should just stick around. Because one of these days we're gonna get a thank you plaque. One of these days we're gonna get that reparation check. So you don't want to leave the country because you might miss your check. You might miss your thank you note from the upper echelons and the oligarchs of America. Yeah, the same country that can't figure out how to guarantee us full citizenship. The same country that's right now trying to figure out, can they sneak a new modern age slavery system back onto us with chains, mind you. That's where you want to stay. That's where you want to be proud of staying. That's where you want to talk down on people who say, I want out. Well, newsflash, our ancestors weren't a monolith. Just like today, we're not a monolith. Now, more so today than then, perhaps we should be a monolith, but we're not. We're not a monolith, and our ancestors weren't either. Plenty of our ancestors fought to escape. Most of our ancestors were forcibly held and stuck here. You know, we even got ancestors that never even made it here. All the ones that jumped over the boats or that was thrown over the boats, those are our ancestors too. What you gonna call them? Oceanics? They built the seas, so they don't want to leave the ocean. And yet here you are acting as though the enslaved had a choice in their citizenship status and where they wanted to live. And since you want to put it on the ancestors, well, the last time I checked, our ancestral line goes back more than 400 years. Yes, we have ancestors that are buried here. We also have ancestors that are buried there. Your first ancestor, however far back you go, your first ancestor, in some way, shape, form, or another, unless you are pretendian, but as long as you come from African root, you have an ancestor who came from Africa. That ancestor wanted to return. That ancestor had whole family bloodline lineage, that you use the word so carelessly. They all had families that they longed to return to. And so just like we say today, we are our ancestors. Their DNA is in us. Their spirit is in us, or at least some of us. At least some of us know it. At least some of us recognize it. That longing is still in us. So while you out here claiming Builders of America, that title is just a golden muzzle. That's all it is. Encouraging you to stay silent about the millions of ancestors that you don't want to deal with, the ones left behind in Africa. So let's just get this straight. Those ancestors are just as real as the ones your mama told you about. We have ancestors, known and unknown. And as long as you believe in that, the known and the unknown are around you and about you and working through you. Now, if you don't believe that, that's a whole nother story. But you cannot dispel DNA. So those African ancestors' DNA is still in you. Now, maybe you descended from the sellouts, but none of those African ancestors disappeared. Those lineages didn't disappear into thin air. They didn't vanish into thin air. They still exist today. And we may not necessarily be able to find them, but some of us who have done the research have found them. They have found cousins. They have found people who are descendant from. So it's always possible if you do the legwork. I'm not saying you got to. If you don't believe in it, then that's another whole story altogether. But you can not believe in something. It's still real. You can stick your head in the sand and say, I don't believe in the sun. What's that going to change? So those African bloodlines, those African families still exist, just like we still exist. Just as we are descendants of the first Africans that were kidnapped, there are people in Africa who are descendants of the family members that got stolen. But it's going to take more of us to shake the Stockholm syndrome for this to make any sense to you. So if half of our known ancestors long to return and almost all of our unknown ancestors desperately wanted to return to their homelands, and some of us now have a chance to leave, what kind of backwards logic is it to say we should stay just because the ones we know of didn't have the opportunity. The ones we know of were forced to stay. It's not as though they were here under complete free will. It's not as though they were here with the absence of hellish conditions. They were here under torture and duress. They were here under the whip. They were here under rape system. But you think so highly of this America, the America that is still killing us in the streets with badges and guns. We built this place. Did we build the police brutality system? Did we build the redlining system? Did we build the bank can't give you a loan system? We built this place. We've been ducking and dodging bullets in this place. So why are you talking bad on people that say, I'm tired of ducking and dodging bullets? I heard there are other places, and it's not just Africa. It's not just Africa. It's not just Ghana. There are Black Americans saying, hey, I can go and live in China. I can go live in Thailand. I can go live in England. But you know what I never hear? I never hear Black people down talking the Blacks who say, I want to live in England. I never hear Black people down talking the Black Americans who say, I want to leave this country and live in Thailand. I don't hear them talking mess about the Black Americans who want to leave this country and live in Mexico. But soon as the word Africa comes up, hey, why you want to leave? Why you want to leave? We built this place. You don't say that to the ones that go to Italy. You don't say that to the ones that go to Germany. You need to check yourself. Y'all need to check yourself. It's nothing but hate. That's what they call self-hate. Because you'll be the first to say, you go, girl. Or that's right, my brother, you go do that. If they tell you they gonna move to England. If they tell you they gonna move to Germany. But as soon as they say Ghana, we built this place. Why we want to go back? Be careful, your self-hate is slipping. And real talk, why you even watching a show? Why you even watching a YouTube video? You see what the title is before you click on it. You know from the title, it's going to be a presentation about Black people finding happiness, joy, peace, resilience, anything positive about their stay, their existence in Ghana. You know that's what the video is going to be about. And you just going to join, watch, and start making negative comments. What's your problem? What's going on with you? You know, they say if you don't have anything good to say, don't say nothing. That's what you should have did. Just kept on scrolling. That's what a troll is. That's like going to a vegan restaurant and then complaining they ain't got no baby back ribs. What are you here for? What did you come through the door for? I demand the right to have a rib. If staying in America is the hill you want to die on, do that. But don't run around here trying to talk people out of the hill they want to die on. At least admit that the hill you want to die on ain't no sacred duty to that. Your ancestors didn't pass down the idea that you should just stay here stuck like they were. They never had the luxury of getting out. They never had the luxury of travel in certain generations. And in generations before that, they didn't have the freedom to travel. Talking about what they built here. What is it that we built here that we control? We built up cities and towns, they burnt them down. They got Black women today that built up whole charitable foundation arrangements to network, and white folk took them to court to destroy it and stop them. All the Black entertainers that have amassed vast amounts of wealth, and then what happened to them? Some court case jump off, and now they go from being a millionaire to a thousandaire. They go from being a billionaire to a millionaire, losing all their money. Because we built this place. I mean, it's like what are you? You addicted to suffering? Suffering ain't a birthright. That's what I'm gonna say. So I just say shout out to everybody that is leaving. And shout for all that matter. Shout out to everybody that's not leaving. I'm not here trying to say we all gotta go. We need to leave. If you feel the need to leave, I salute you. If you feel the need to stay, I salute you. But I'm not going to talk bad about people that leave. That doesn't make any sense. Yo, that's my proper perspective. I'm out. Peace.